Why do you feel resentment? Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Dr. Meghana Dikshit, author of the book You Matter, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to our channel. Here we explore the fascinating realms of mind and brain, share the secrets to success, help you heal your past, and prepare for a brilliant future. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell. And to all our returning viewers, a heartfelt welcome. If you are ready to dive into the incredible world of brain potential, type dive in the chat box right now. Now, the burning question: why do I feel this resentment? Resentment is one of the most toxic baggage to carry in any equation in your life. It is mostly ignored by us because it does not fit into our happy picture of ourselves. It is essential to face it directly and resolve it. Resentment is the pain felt as a result of perceiving that you have been betrayed and treated wrongly, in an unfair, unjust manner. It involves not being able to accept something or someone that you reject in your life. It is a mixture of different emotions felt as a result of feeling that you have been treated unfairly. Emotions like sadness, anger, disgust, etc. Resentment converts into distrust of the person. Trust is the ability to rely on a fact that someone who you trust is going to keep your best interest at heart. If you feel distrust, then evidently someone has not done that for you. In chronic resentment is usually involves some injustice that has a big negative impact on your present or your future. For example, if your spouse has an affair, it brings a lot of hurt in the present, and your future together is also affected negatively. Distrust, once it sets in, is difficult to manage and to let go. The person who was so close once seems like someone else now. Where earlier you wouldn't have believed that they could hurt you, now you expect them to hurt and betray you repeatedly. Right and wrong, fair and unfair, just and unjust. All these are very subjective perspectives. Whether or not someone has betrayed you intentionally, it is valid feeling because your perception tells you it is. You will feel resentment regardless of how right or wrong you are about being treated unjustly or unfairly. It will be that the root of the injustice comes from your past, and so you perceive certain behavior as unfair and you feel resentful as a result. If there is strong resentment that poisons your relationship, then it is worth exploring where the roots come from in the past. Childhood experiences of being treated unfairly, being disregarded, and having your boundaries disrespected would be at the root of the perceptions. Do you have these imprints in your past? Let me know in the comment section. Have you experienced betrayal and mistrust in the past? Has someone crossed their boundary and hurt you? Let me know in the comment section. Understand that any pattern is there in your life for a reason. There is something that you are getting by holding on to the pattern, by holding on to it even though it causes so much pain. If we look at resentment, it is the unwillingness or inability to forgive. Forgiving or letting go many times takes on the defeatist meaning of letting your unmet needs to go. Letting go of the need to be treated respectfully and fairly in a way that encourages trust. So forgiveness feels like giving up on the need to be respected and treated fairly. Resentment is like a wall that a person uses to protect themselves. The resentment is like a boundary and a reminder that no one can disrespect my boundaries ever again. There is also a need for your sense of self to be right and good. Being in the victim role gives the role of the perpetrator to the other person. In popular perception, the victim is good and right, while the perpetrator is wrong one. The victim belief is fed by the continuous feeling of resentment. In other words, resentment may be our way of feeling like we are good, just, and right. Another dynamic that operates in this equation is that if we have been disrespected, betrayed, and wronged, then the other person owes us to make it up to us. When we feel unsafe in relationships about how people treat us, then it puts the other person in a lower position. where they have to make it up to us. We feel like we are in a more empowered position. This is a kind of subconscious power play which keeps us safe as the other person has to make amends. That seems to us to be a guarantee of being treated well in the present and in the future. You get what I'm saying here? So how do you take care of this? How do you let go of resentment? First, become conscious. Ask yourself, what do you feel so resentful about? What happened to you that left this deep imprint of injustice on you? What was the experience that you went through and with whom? What was something they did or did not do? Are you projecting the past impressions of childhood on your current relationship? Second, ask yourself whether the real resentment is against yourself for treating yourself unjustly. Is there some guilt that you are carrying? Something that you could have done? Maybe stood up for yourself that you did not do, and now you can't forgive yourself for it. For example, if someone gets into a compromising position because they ignored the red flags about a person, then when that person tried to take advantage of the situation, they blamed him. They may be cursing themselves, though, for putting themselves in that compromising position by ignoring the red flags in the first place. It feels better than blaming yourself or being blamed by others to point the finger outwards. We can only let go of the resentment towards others when we let go towards ourselves first. Third, understand the impact that holding on to this resentment is having on your life. How is it impacting your current life? And how will it impact your future? Resentment will cause you to distance yourself from your partner, and that could lead to other worse consequences which endanger your relationship itself. 4. Accepting the reality of the how and why is essential if you want to let go of resentment. If you resent something, then you are not accepting something. Accepting something doesn't mean that you are endorsing it. Look at the situation with eyes wide open and ask yourself, what am I not accepting in this situation? Next question to ask yourself would be, why am I not willing to accept this? If I accept this, what would it mean? How would my story change? You are rejecting something when you are resenting it. This puts a pressure on yourself as you are actually wanting to push it away from yourself. Resentment is like holding on to a burning ember in your palms and wanting the other person to burn. Once you understand this, ask yourself this, is it worth it? It's like hitting your hand on the brick and wanting the brick to hurt the other person. So the first step is, ask yourself, what bad thing would happen if I let go of this resentment? There is a part of you who feels that something really bad will happen if you let go of the resentment. What is that fear? Ask yourself. You may be thinking that if you forgive and let go, then whatever happened was okay when it is not okay. Or that if I let this go, they will not realize how hurt I felt and still feel. They may do it again. If I forgive, I am like a pathetic person who says it's okay to hurt me. Or if I let go of this, then I will not get justice for this. Asking yourself why you can't forgive yourself will give you really deep insights into the way your subconscious mind operates. Sixth, it is important to heal the underlying experiences or experiences that have kept this pattern in the forefront for you. Not just this current situation. You'll observe that as you heal the past, you get possibilities of how to resolve the current situation, where earlier you had felt stuck. Step 7. You will realize that when you are feeling the resentment all the time, your mind is continuously repeating the story, continuously going on that mind chatter. It is difficult and almost impossible to focus on solutions in such case. How then would you succeed in getting out of this trap to take you towards a solution? It would help you if you focused on the worst case scenario. What is the worst that could happen? What would and could happen once that worst case scenario has arrived? When your mind is filled with resentment, your mind oscillates between fear of what could happen and anger and rage that what in your perception is happening. You perceive yourself as being powerless. In order to not feel powerless, you stoke the anger and rage, which makes you feel powerful and in charge. Is it a truth bomb for you? Type truth bomb in the chat box. So you keep going from the terror of feeling powerless to the righteousness of justified anger. So how could you genuinely feel power in this situation? When you feel resentment, you put yourself in the role of the victim. Remember, not to shame yourself for feeling like a victim. It is the state you are in, and it is in a way required for your survival in the worldview that you have. You acknowledge this part of you and take charge to nurture the hurt to heal it. But you decide that this part cannot be charge of yourself. When you ask yourself, how did I reach here in this state? How did I contribute to bring in this state in my life? A result of taking on this responsibility is that you realize that you are in control. You never have lost control. All that happened was that you didn't know how to make a better choice for yourself at that time. You lead yourself to feeling empowered when you realize and accept the responsibility for what you feel. Give that part of you a lot of love, that part that did not know better. It is no use blaming that younger version of you. So don't get into that trap. Blaming yourself would be worse than blaming others. Take that power of choice and accept it, knowing that you will make better and empowered choices for yourself in the future. 8. Once you have taken charge in your mind, ask yourself what is a positive that you have got from this experience which led you to feel resentment. The more you see the benefits that have come from these experiences, it is easier to let go and start to celebrate yourself. This is not to invalidate the pain the experiences caused. It is to acknowledge the experiences fully with the pros and cons. This about coming out of the fog that keeps you seeing that you have other paths ahead of you rather than the one you follow monotonously. 9. What happens when we feel what we have been treated unfairly? We give the meaning to the experience a negative meaning rather than a positive one. Let me give you an example. Let's say that my partner cheated on me. I may give it a meaning that I'm not worthy or that my partner doesn't love me. This meaning causes pain. Focus on what meaning you have given to your experiences. Figure out how it may not be directed towards you. We don't think in that moment what is happening in the other person's life, that they are behaving the way they are. That clarity usually gives us totally different understanding of what really happened. What happened may have more to do with what is happening in the other person's life than yours. 10th, resentment usually sets in because when something happens, we give it our meaning rather than expressing what we feel about it. We may have been scared of the consequences of expressing ourselves. So those unexpressed feelings go inwards and continue to come up and poke you when something similar occurs. Again, you do not express yourself or think about what is going on with the other person. You continue to repeat your story of unfairness and injustice. Write down all that you felt but did not express in the experience. Ask yourself, why did you stop yourself from expressing what you felt? You may have felt that you would lose the person or they wouldn't understand, isn't it? Is it a truth bomb? Type truth bomb in the chat box. 11. Take a look at your own expectations. When we feel resentment, it means that someone or anyone did not fulfill the expectations that you had. Then check what your current expectations are. Communicate with people involved, because unless you tell them, they wouldn't know. So start the communication. Step 12. Something is not how you want it to be, so you feel resentful. Something is that shouldn't be, or something isn't, or what should be. Question this should and shouldn't be's. Something that you do want, you can now focus on with awareness and by putting in your effort in that direction. So proactive steps rather than festering with what is unwanted. Resentment kills relationships. It is a state that you got into. You know now that you can make a different choice to get out of it. Focus on creating the resolution, on taking charge and feeling empowered and going in the direction of what you want. If this video helped you, give me a thumbs up and share it with many friends and family members. If you want my help to overcome your resentment, there are 2 options which are given in the chat box. First link is of my book, You Matter. You will be able to purchase the book from the Amazon through the link, and you will get lots of insights about your patterns and how to overcome your resentment. And the second link is of my complimentary masterclass, which you can attend with me for 3 hours to discover more about your past patterns and what are your unconscious beliefs and how to overcome this resentment, a complete strategy. If you liked it, then subscribe to this channel, press the bell icon so that you get a notification whenever I upload my next video. Till then, upwards and onwards. See you soon.